Welcome back to Medinare. In this video, let's discuss about gingiva. In particular, we'll discuss about macroscopic features of gingiva. Gingiva is the part of oral mucosa that covers the alveolar processes of the jaw and surrounds the neck of the teeth. This is what you're going to write or tell in viva when they ask definition of gingiva. And it is anatomically divided into three parts, which are marginal gingiva, attached gingiva, and interdental gingiva. Normally, in an adult, the gingiva covers the alveolar bone and root of the tooth to a level just coronal to the cemento-enamel junction. Now let's have a detailed look at every parts of the gingiva. Marginal gingiva. It is also known as unattached gingiva or free gingiva. It is the terminal edge or border of the gingiva that surrounds the teeth in collar-like fashion. The width of the marginal gingiva is usually about 1 mm and it forms the soft tissue wall of the gingival sulcus. Adjacent to the marginal gingiva is our attached gingiva, and there must be something to demarcate between these two, right? Free gingival groove does that job. It is a shallow linear depression to demarcate the marginal gingiva from the attached gingiva. And another important part to be noted here is gingival zenith. It is the apical most part of the gingival scallop. Its apicocoronal and mesiodistal dimensions vary between 0.06 and 0.96 mm. Moving on to the next part, which is the gingival sulcus. Gingival sulcus is the shallow crevice or space around the teeth. The gingival sulcus is bounded by the surface of the tooth on one side and the epithelial lining of the free margin of the gingiva or the marginal gingiva on the other side. Gingival sulcus is V-shaped, it is non-keratinized, it shows no retapex, and it also shows hydropic degeneration. We can check for the depth of gingival sulcus using periodontal probe. In absolute normal or ideal conditions, the depth is 0 mm. While looking at the histological section, it is approximately 1.8 mm. But normally, the probing depth of clinically normal gingival sulcus in human is 2 to 3 mm. Attached gingiva. Attached gingiva is continuous with the marginal gingiva. It is firm, resilient, and tightly bound to the underlying periosteum of the alveolar bone. Now let's see till which point the extent of attached gingiva is present. In facial aspect, the attached gingiva extends to the relatively loose and movable alveolar mucosa, and it is demarcated by the mucogingival junction. On the lingual aspect of the mandible, the attached gingiva terminates the junction of lingual alveolar mucosa. And in the palatal surface, the attached gingiva in the maxilla blends with the equally firm and resilient palatal mucosa. Mucogingival junction. It demarcates the attached gingiva and loose alveolar mucosa, and it always remains constant. Let's see what is width of attached gingiva. It is the distance between the mucogingival junction and projection on the external surface of the bottom of the gingival sulcus or the periodontal pocket. This is an important viva question, and you should not confuse this with width of keratinized gingiva because this can also be a viva question which comes simultaneously with attached gingiva's width. So it is the distance between mucogingival junction and projection on the external surface of the bottom of the gingival sulcus or the periodontal pocket. But you must also include marginal gingiva when it comes to width of keratinized gingiva. What is the normal range of width of attached gingiva is another important viva question. So the value is greatest in the incisor region. In maxilla, it is about 3.5 to 4.5 mm, and in mandible, it is 3.3 to 3.9 mm. Whereas this value is narrower in posterior segments in first premolar region. In maxillary first premolar region, it is 1.9 mm, and in mandible, it is 1.8 mm. The width of attached gingiva increases with age, and it also increases in supraerupted teeth. Remember, width of attached gingiva can change, but the location of mucogingival junction always remains constant. Now let's move on to the interdental gingiva. Interdental gingiva occupies the gingival embrasure, which is the interproximal space beneath the area of tooth contact. In anteriors, the interdental gingiva can be pyramidal, and in posteriors, it can have caul shape. It is pyramidal in anterior tooth because the tip of the papilla is located immediately beneath the contact point, whereas in posterior teeth, It is caul shape. So what is caul? In posterior teeth, it is stent or caul shaped. So what is a caul? It is a valley-like depression that connects the facial and lingual papilla and that conforms to the shape of the interproximal contact. Shape of the gingiva in a given interdental space depends on the presence or absence of contact point between the adjacent teeth, the distance between the contact point and the osseous crest, and presence or absence of some degree of recession. And that brings us to the end of the video. I hope you guys found it helpful. Do like this video and subscribe to Medinare for more. Thanks for watching.